What's going on? BTBT is back with part 2 of our show at the Sampler. This bonus special edition show features co-owner Leo and bar manager Joel, who brings a special energy to the episode. We talk the state of craft beer, diversity in the scene, and the future of the Sampler. Check out the BTBT store at beertodaybeertomorrow.com to get your BTBT merchandise. We got dope shirts that'll have you looking fly, and we got 16-ounce custom logo glassware, perfect for any drinking occasion at any time of the day. Visit the BTBT store at beertodaybeertomorrow.com to get your BTBT fix. We hope you're drinking right now. Crack them open if you got them and enjoy the latest dose of dopeness. Cheers.
No further ado, I'm going to introduce Joel.
Wow, man of the hour, bro. They've been talking you up for the last 45 minutes.
Big time, so.
Yeah. Sorry I'm late. Bronx to Brooklyn.
I just came from the Bronx. I work in the Bronx.
Oh, word?
Burnside Avenue.
Nice.
In Jerome.
That's
yeah.
2 stops from my hood. 188.
Okay.
Morris.
Yeah.
Yeah, stand up. We're going back uptown soon.
Okay.
But yeah, I just dedicated myself in finding a 5-bedroom apartment with my colleagues, one of my bartenders, head bartender, my cook, and my homie Kicks and Kegs, who runs the beer buying as well as Prospect Heights Beer Works. Sorry, very long name.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm here finally. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I mean, better late than never, man. We're glad to have you on the show. So tell us a little bit about your experience here at the Sampler. I know you're an OG here. You've been here for a while.
Yeah, first employee. I got into beer. I had my first craft beer at Bronx Ale House, 238th Street in the Bronx. And I was like, damn, beer tastes like oatmeal and like wheat and like all this craziness. And I was like, this is pretty fucking cool and artistic. At the time, my first love was graffiti and art and all that stuff. So I was like, I got no money. What am I going to get into? And then I was like, hey, beer is probably an outlet where I can make some money and actually get into the industry. So I was searching on Craigslist and there was an opening. And I was like, fuck it, I got to go to Brooklyn. I don't want to serve cocktails. I just want to focus on beer. So I came here, met the manager, and he was like Latino, and we chopped it up. I threw some Spanish in. I was like, you know what I'm saying? And he called me back, and then I worked here for 8 months, and I was like, I'm not really making money. I want to move on. So I went to Taproom 307, where I was mentored by Haley Jensen at the time, which is Haley, no, I think that's her name now. She married Steven, which was the cook. Mentored them, then SKI picked me up to run the Bronx because they knew I was from the Bronx and knew the people and the beer. So they were like, hey, do you want to open up the Bronx craft beer market? They gave me 3 accounts to start with, and I built that up to 125, including supermarkets, delis, cafe, bars, etc. Then I went to manage Bronx Draft House, worked at City Hops, went to work at Randolph Dumbo, helped Dykeman Beer out, just a ton, learning every little corner of the industry, like Home D's, distribution, brands, bartender, server. So now I know where everybody's mind is at. You know, I knew where my boss's minds were. I knew where my employees' minds were. And I knew that I couldn't, like, you know, you have some owners that come in and they're like, you should do this, you should do that. Mm-hmm. Why is that like this? Why? Because they're not here the whole day and they don't know what's going on. So when I come in, I'm like, yeah, I understand that shit. I work behind the bar too. So, you know, kind of get your hands dirty before jumping into something, which a lot of people don't do in the industry.
Right.
Now, what's your history with these gentlemen here?
These gentlemen.
Let him tell the story.
So, Rich used to come through.
You heard?
The first year of this opening, you heard? Rich used to come through with his fireman buddies and buy flights and meet at charcuterie boards. And then, slowly but surely, we started to connect and talk. And then, you know, we would shit on, like, we're the only people that could kind of talk about like hipsters and bullshit like that, and the community and what's real New York and all this other shit. We love and embrace everybody, but you know you have that connection when you see a real New Yorker. So we did that, and we kind of just grew to fuck with each other really hard. And can I curse?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you say whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we kept, we were friends on social media, and then I knew that he liked cigars, so I invited him to Bronx Draft House, which had a Papa Juan cigar next door.
Talk about Rich.
Yeah, Rich. And then he DM'd me one day, and he said, yo, did you hear the samples for sale? Let's have a conversation. So we met up at KCBC, and I met Leo, and I was like, damn, this dude's mad cool. He's kind of like me, but older, and like we got a lot older, by the way. We connected right away. Like we like to drink, we like to chill, we like to talk shit, we like hip hop. You know, we like the community. We both Dominican. We could talk back and forth English and Spanish, and like it was really cool. And then I was like, I don't know if this shit's gonna happen. And then they kept doing the back end shit while I was working and running around the industry. And one day they were like, yo, we're gonna close. And then every week it was like, yo, we're gonna close. And I'm like, great. My hopes are mad high, and this shit is not gonna happen. And they finally closed like late July, and I was like, oh shit, this shit is happening. So I left my job at Taproom 307, and we were like, yo, we opening next week, bet. And like,
That was our inexperience that we talked about that.
I was like, I started ordering mad beer, and all these distributors, I'm not gonna say their names, they send me the beer, and then I finally sat down with Manhattan and Union, and they're like hard asses who are actually super, super onto this shit. And they were like, bro, you don't have a liquor license, and I was like, oh shit. I could literally keep all this shit, and they can't do anything, they can't report me to SLA because I don't have a liquor license. So I could like sick dick all these motherfuckers, but I didn't. I told them, yo, come get your shit. They came and got their shit. So I had to cancel like other half, KCBC, and all this good shit, which I said I was gonna mention names, but I did. And that's what happened. And then it was just we kind of crashed creatively. We were like, fuck. And like we didn't do nothing for a couple of weeks, and then we're like, yo, we better start like fixing this shit, because if our shit gets approved, we're gonna have nothing. So Leo just said, fuck this, I'm not hiring anybody, I'm gonna do this shit myself. So he started bringing like wood and fucking piping, and I was like, what the fuck? Yo, we should hire somebody. But he literally did it. Like he put up these dope ass copings that are like freight trains. He fucking put up the piping. He got the wood from his homie's backyard. He glazed it. And then like slowly but surely, we're like, yo, what are we gonna do with the walls? And then I was just sitting there, I was like, yo, we should do subway tiles. And I showed him a picture of the Jefferson train. And then he was like, yo, that's dope. And every idea I would come up and tell him or Rich, they would like follow up with it right away and be like, I actually ordered tiles. I actually brought this in.
Oh, nice.
And then funny part was that he went to some graffiti show in the BX in the South Bronx, and he met like Eric Orr and like all these people. And then he pulled up with like my old mentor, like Cyanide, who was like the art director for Biggie Smalls, and he taught me graphic design and how to paint canvases and shit. So when he pulled up, I was like, yo, my homies are here.
Did I mention before that he's got energy?
Yeah.
You already know.
It's good energy, though.
I'm the Cardi B of beer. What Action Bronson and Desus and Mero do, I'm trying to do it with beer. I'm that guy, yo, Viceland, holla at me, yo, Complex. Stop ignoring me, yo. I'm out here. Beer is fucking boring. I can make it interesting. So we did that.
Maybe another question, Joe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a rambler.
No, just keep going, man.
It's my show now. I'm just
Keep
gonna run
going.
it.
Keep going.
How are
Yeah.
you
Ramble
doing?
on. I'm drinking.
I need
I'm
a
good. I
beer.
got some beer.
Anything, literally.
So you're here, right? So what's your vision going forward? Like, what do you see for the sampler?
I see us continuing to do what we happen organically. We never sat here and said, yo, we want to have a graffiti bar. We were just being ourselves.
Yeah.
And we looked around and we were like, yo, let's get this idea more tight. So that's why I did like the top of the fridge to look like a train station. And Leo brought some Dominican, Puerto Rican elements, and we just started hanging shit. So the main point is to create a space that's free for the community that gets neglected: Latinos, blacks, LGBT, females, everybody that doesn't really get a voice in craft beer. We all know it's the same, like fat bearded guy with a collar shirt with his brewery on his chest, and like that's the face of beer. But nah, it's a motherfucker with dreadlocks that acts crazy. It's fucking Dominican guy. Like we got brewers in the Bronx that are Dominican, Puerto Rican, that are hood as fuck, but they know their shit.
Unity and diversity,
we're trying
my
to bring
friend.
everybody together, and even the new community, the people that move from Michigan and Vermont, we want to say, hey, come here, learn the real story about this community and this neighborhood. And my partners actually grew up here. Like, it's like a crazy story. Like they survived this crazy shit, and they became superheroes. Like they became the superheroes of New York are firemen. Like they became those people and came back to their hoods where they fucking went through shit and like gave back,
Right.
So we're just trying to create a space for local, not to shun people, but there's artists that come to Brooklyn, they paint a wall, and then they do an art show and they're renowned, they're known, they get a few little outlets and they're good. Like we want to, look, Eric Orr, I bet you no one knows who that is. He was endorsed by Keith Haring. Like he bombed the trains with Keith Haring. Al Diaz, he wrote with Basquiat on the street. Those are two artists who are renowned on T-shirts, Urban Outfitters, all this shit.
Right.
But what about their friends? Like they got kind of lost and forgotten. So that's all we're trying to do. Just highlight real shit, and then not neglect our beer menu. Like this shit is about beer. At the end of the day, we love beer. Like as different as we sound, as great. We know our shit. Like there's dankness on tap, 7 crazy IPAs, double dry hop shit. We have Belgian beer. We have easy approaching stuff for Corona, Heineken drinkers too, like Pilsners. We got all type of stuff, so that's what we're trying to do. It's just like change what beer is, but not the beer. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's dope. That's dope. And we actually asked the question before these guys, but asking again to you, like, so let's say somebody comes off the street, newbie, right? They're drinking Corona.
I have
they're
a
drinking,
whole completely answer for that one.
They're drinking Heinekens. You know, they come in and they're like, you know, they're looking around. They want to try something new. What would you, right now, based on what you guys have here, what would you recommend?
Happens every day, and I've seen it happen in other bars, and they go, this is craft beer bar. And like, you shouldn't respond. Like, those are the people that I am more interested in, not talking about hops with some beer geek. I'm more interested in that person that doesn't know and helping them figure out and changing their lives. So if they ask for a Heineken or a Presidente, those are both Pilsners, horribly done Pilsners, but they're Pilsners. So I would go for Veltins, or I would go with Dykeman Pilsner on draft, or McKellar, say Hey Sally, like those type of beers, the light, Jack Savvy House Lager to get them in.
Yeah.
If they're a Hefeweizen drinker or a Blue Moon drinker, a nice wit, you know, Trogs Hef, which we have on tap, like things like that, or a Saison if we don't have a wheat beer. Guinness drinkers, a stout that's a little stronger. They'll be like, yo, this is 12, it's so smooth, because they're used to like an aggressive bitterness from Guinness, and it's sitting at 4.5 ABV or something like that. So just finding what they like. If they don't like beer, I get that every day too. I don't like beer. Do you like dessert? Do you like spicy food? What do you like? Let me put you on to something, because they have that kind of conditioned mindset that's like, beer tastes like fart and like fucking garbage, brown paper bag, cigar dipped in water. Like, that's not beer. You know, and I've had like 40s with like the end of a blunt in it, so I kind of know what I'm talking about.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we all been there.
Throw in the clip in the 40 and face it. Throwback shit.
Now, my question is, it looks like you've been commuting from Bronx to Brooklyn for a while. Are you just Bronx for life, or would you move to Brooklyn?
I just signed the lease in Cypress Hill, but you know, the Bronx, it humbles me when I go back uptown. I can't stop going. Just going back uptown and seeing a dude on his stoop with a hookah, or like, you know, seeing bitches walk around with no money, going to Dykeman, like shit like that. Seeing guys play dominoes, like that shit still happens in Brooklyn, but it's rare. And like going to the Bronx, I get humbled. And I remember where I came from. Like, yo, let me put my phone away, type shit. Like, let me cross that street. There's a group like that. Shit keeps me and raised me. So
Don't get it twisted. Bushwick still got that
Bushwick
element.
still got. Yo, the hood is still here. If you walk down Star, you'll see people on their stoop. You'll see the patelito guy, the flan guy, like, it's still here. I like the mix, and that's what, like, is kind of happening in the South Bronx with gentrification, but...
So Dope Fiends have a car wash on my block, like, outside my apartment.
Jerome.
Yo, they gotta hustle, you know, gotta make it happen.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to go back to the Bronx, hopefully, and I run a beer club called Uptown Beer Society. You can look it up on Instagram. It's basically, we do bottle shares and beer events once a month in the Bronx to help these crazy craft beer drinkers that go to specialty release and collect cans and kind of bring them together. Like we did one at Gun Hill Tavern, we did one at all over at Milk Burger, like all type of restaurants and places in the Bronx that you could bring your specialty cans and bottles and we can share, then tip out the bartenders, support them with food. So I still do that. We're actually this Saturday gonna do Hydro Punk. We're gonna bring a ton of free Narragansett lagers and kind of like give it away because they're trying to draw awareness for like the Bronx is not for sale and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be a part of the community. That's all we're trying to do. Go back and forth, you know, everywhere.
Yeah. I actually met Alvin from Trogs. He's
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's why we got a permanent Trogs line.
yeah,
That's
so,
the
like-
only reason the Union Beer got in here. Thank Alvin.
I'm originally from Pittsburgh, and we used to do basically, you know, bring whatever we could be traveling around every week, you know? And we would do the same deal, like little bottle shares, just do whatever. I love that kind of concept. It's a great way to get people together and just spread the word, see what's out there, especially if you got people on the road finding stuff that you can't get locally, you know?
Yeah. Me and Alvin went to high school together. We used to look out the windows at graffiti. We used to go to DeWitt Clan. Actually, Merrill went there too, and Tracy Morgan. A bunch of. If you look at the Wikipedia of DeWitt Clan, it's like friggin' scientists and shit.
Wow.
And actors. It's pretty dope. But yeah, sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring for sure. So now, which breweries or brewers out here now? Like, what's really exciting you about craft beer at the moment?
The fact that you can go around, I could go around the corner and get a KCBC 6-2. Like, that's amazing. Like, the fact that there's fresh IPAs every day. The fact that New York started some kind of shit, even though it was happening in Massachusetts and Vermont and all these places, they kind of are making brands like Sierra and Sam Adams come out with juice bombs and haze bombs, like, which is insane to me, which is not really good for them because we know it's going to sit and go bad, but beer is good, man. Shout outs to all the breweries doing it and people that are trying to be different, like Transmitter. They're not trying to,
Right.
you know, do the juice bombs. They're doing Belgian stuff. You know, LIC got a cool shit. That's pretty fucking cool. Other half is dope, like I said. Randolph Beer just opened in Dumbo. Those guys are really good too. Like Gun Hill in the Bronx is amazing. Dykeman is working on their facilities uptown. I mean, beer is just amazing. Like, everybody's just doing different shit, and I'm excited.
Absolutely. And shout out to Dave from Gun Hill. We were just out there a couple
Word
weeks
up, shout
ago.
out to Kieran and Dave.
Kieran
You
and
already
Dave,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. What about Braven? I know that they have like an office just down the street here.
Braven. Shout out to Braven, man. They used to come here when I was the first employee, and they were testing out their black and their white IPA by literally buying black and white IPAs from the fridge. I mean, you know, I could stand here and talk shit all day, but at the end of the day, it's not that easy when you're a realistic person. You don't got $2 million to drop on a brewery. So they started their concept and clean branding, and they went with 2 beers that they brew at Saratoga Springs.
Yeah.
You know, they got a contract brewery, start some hype around the brand, and then eventually open. Some people just, you know, got money and they do it off the top, and they stay quiet and they do it. Kind of like Bronx Brewery and Gun Hill. Like, Gun Hill stayed quiet, open. They had a concept in the beginning and they totally changed it. And they're like, yo, let's follow what's going on. Let's make better shit.
Right.
And then Bronx Brewery kind of stayed behind, and like, all they make is pale ales. And like, it's kind of boring, but now they're switching up and trying to be a part of the community, which is what they should have did since day one, and not just put a fucking burrow on your brand and then not pay no homage to nobody for 5 years.
Yo, blow him up, Joel.
And
Blow
then
him up.
collaborate
Blow
with
him up.
HelloFresh
Say
and
what you
bring
really
in-
feel.
bring in wild trucks of polluted trucks into the South Bronx, and then not even deliver HelloFresh to the Bronx and just suffocate us. So, I mean, shit like that, they got a bad rep for, but now they, you know, they're collaborating with like Lexi Bella, a friend of mine from the past, a local artist, and like trying to do that, but it's like, I feel like a little too late for y'all to start this shit.
Yeah. Like, you kind of feel like they should have came out of the gate doing stuff like
you
that,
should,
giving
you
back
know,
to the
be
community.
Learn this. I'm not gonna move to Cali and be like, I'm gonna do some Bronx shit out here. No, I'm gonna live there, see what the environment is, and then throw my own flow into whatever is the demand around. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's the crazy part. Like, you in the Bronx making pale ales. Why you didn't make a pill? You just made that banner, that goal there. Why didn't you do that the first day to open people up to the beer? That's what I'm saying.
That's a fair point.
They probably hear it in the shit right now and hating me. Like, yo, don't ever let
You don't hear it yet.
Yo, that kid that goes into the tap room, yo, kick that motherfucker out the tap.
You know, it's funny you brought up Raven, and we had Raven on the show a few months back. I mean, it's true though. I mean, everyone's path is a little different. You know, it's
It's not easy.
It's not easy. No, it's not. Especially here in New York, trying to get things going here. It's not easy. And I think for what Raven does, I mean, you know, they got a handful of beers. I think those beers are good. You know, I
Literally
enjoy
a
them.
handful.
Literally, I mean,
Like
it's like
3,
2 or
4.
3. Right. You know, and you know, it is what it is. But it's great to see how the scene really is exploding. I mean, you go like before 2012, there was really not a whole
man,
lot.
There was nothing. There was actually Kelly from Kelso said it himself. If you watch that video on YouTube, it was about nano brewers, and he said, "Yo, in like a couple of years, there's gonna be 20 breweries," and that shit happened. So there wasn't nothing but 6 Point, Kelso. That was it, really, locally. I don't remember anything. Single Cut was the one that kind of came out and started doing the dankness shit and the juice bombs first, honestly.
Yeah, and I
That's
think.
why I always have a soft spot for them.
And as far as Queens goes, I think the first one out there, I think was Rockaway. They were coming
Yeah.
out, but single cut definitely
No,
the juice
Big
bombs.
Alice came out of nowhere with that farm to table type shit, like
Yeah.
straight up food ingredients.
Yeah.
You know, they were they changed the game a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see. It's just great. I mean, we hope more. I mean, I think New York still has a long way to go, right? I mean, we only have how many, 30-something, whatever, in the
Yes,
state?
I mean, it's up to like locals to step it up. Honestly, that's what we're trying to do and be the face of that. Is like, yo, you got an idea, get some money behind you and do it your way. Like my boys at First Borough, they brew in their basement in the Bronx on Throxton. They make delicious beer, 2 Puerto Rican guys, and they got a whole setup there, but they don't got the money to, you know, back them up. And they couldn't even lease out their garage as like what Rich did from Bridge and Tunnel, which is awesome. He got an actual, you know, he could distribute his beer and shit from his basement when he first started. It's not easy for people.
No.
Now everybody got a trust fund, you know what I'm saying?
It's true. It's true. Not everybody does. Not everybody. So now, do you do any brewing on the side? You do any
I
homebrew?
made 2 beers in my life. I made a beer with my boy Jake from Taproom 307. We made a pumpkin beer, and then we made a habanero and sour tamarind. Please don't use sour tamarinds if you're not Dominican.
That's a disclosure, right?
Don't
there.
be doing that shit. We let y'all rock with passion fruit. Stop.
Don't be biting.
Nah, fuck it.
You bugging.
That's the first beer. We made an IPA, and then actually we did some historical shit. And December 5th, which was the repeal day, when Prohibition Act was lifted, we tapped, didn't sell, we tapped a beer based on African American Puerto Rican dishes, which was the Candy Yams Imperial Cream Ale, which had vanilla, lactose, cinnamon, pineapples, yams, and maple syrup. We tapped it at Bronx Beer Hall, and donations went to Puerto Rico. So all donations went to Puerto Rico, and we made that beer with First Barrel in their basement. We tapped 2 6-2s, and it was delicious. It was like 7.5. Super, like, it tastes like marshmallows, even though it didn't have the marshmallows. The lactose and vanilla kind of created this, and the aroma of like yams instead of the same old pumpkin beer.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to do. Like, put our ingredients,
Sounds like you need to bring that
our
back.
foods. Yeah, we'll do it one day. You know, one day we'll have a brewery and do some shit. We'll add a little of our fruits and our vegetables from our land and stuff like that. You know, tres leches. I'm trying to call this out now, so when we go back to this podcast and somebody comes out with the beer that I said, flan, more enseñando IPA, don't bite. Limoncillos, don't use those.
You got to document it right now.
Don't use those.
Canepas is out. Although I think Island to
Mama Juana, beer aged in Mama Juana cast, don't do that. Unless you want from Dykeman.
That's funny.
We got a ton of ideas, but you know, it takes time, money, and you know, the will.
Right.
It's a process.
Well, the brewers are helping us out. They're like reaching out. They're like, hey, what do you guys want to do? So, like I said before, I was telling them, KCBC said something about doing something with us, and so it was,
yeah, we're making a beer with Killsborough on Staten Island. He's half Puerto Rican.
right.
We're gonna make a coquito
Nice.
imperial stout, Asian rum barrels. Then with KCBC, we're gonna brew something special. I don't want to say yet because I don't know if there's a disclosure behind it or whatever. But we're doing something Latin-based too, an IPA. And that's what we want to do. We're not busting these breweries' chops. Like, most bars open up, they're like, you got to come spend money. You got to give us a discount. We just want to make a beer with everybody that we're supporting.
at the end
here.
of the day, the fan base is going to grow tremendously. I mean, listen, the Latino community is amazing out here. I mean, it's huge. Not just the Latino, minorities in general. We're talking about blacks and Latinos. We want to taste it. Like, yeah, that'll be an easy outlet for us to tell them. Oh, places like this, we're a bar. We're going to introduce them to this kind of beer. And like, listen, this is what this is in here. Like, oh, really? Let me check that out. So instead of that old traditional ingredients that everybody's so used to, craft heads are used to, we're introducing our flavor to it.
Yeah.
You know?
You should have seen the opening. It was crazy. There was black books
amazing.
everywhere.
Amazing.
There was people that don't even know what craft beer is, but they were drinking it. They were drinking coquito. They were drinking chimosas, which is a chinola mimosa. It's passion fruit on top of sparkling prosecco. And it was beautiful. It was craft beer geeks mingling with blacks and Latinos. There was graffiti writers. So that's what I'm saying. If you like graffiti, you're going to come, and then we'll teach you about beer. If you like beer, you're going to come, we're going to teach you about graffiti. If you're from the neighborhood and come, we're going to teach you about both. If you're not from the neighborhood, we're going to teach you about the neighborhood. So we're like,
there you go.
trying to infuse everything, which we didn't know was possible until, like, thankfully I had two amazing partners that weren't trying to change who I was and trying to water me down. They said, yo, we're going to be who we are and do this. You know,
There you
I
go.
feel like working for a lot of people, or like being on a lot of people's side, I kind of censor myself and like be like, yo, don't act like that. Relax. Yo, stand straight. Wear a collared shirt.
I tell that to my kids,
Don't
but
do a
at the end
braid.
of the day, they don't do it.
Yeah, it's about embracing yourself, and that's why I kind of respect people like Cardi B, because they're like as stupid and ignorant as you see them, but they're a voice for people that can't really sit there and understand an intellectual person, you know.
And look where she's at right now, huh?
Exactly.
She getting money.
She's
getting a
helping-
lot of
she's
money.
Not just
embracing
money,
people
she's
that are from
just
the hood.
showing an aspect that people gotta understand. That's New York.
Yeah.
You can't turn your back on that. I mean, this new crowd, like I've just been like learning as I go too. You know, it's funny with Joel. I mean, like I said, I met him in the summer. Rich knew him from before, but I didn't realize like there's always that distance between. You know, I'm a 47, so I'm gonna tell you right now. He just turned 30. so-
Word.
But there's a lot of stuff that we can relate to. However, they have their opinions, and it's amazing. I just been looking at it. And it's accomplishing amazing things, and they're very vocal, very proud of who they are. I mean, I love that. I love to see that because that's what we used to have to struggle with. It's just a different aspect. Right now, it's just different language. I mean, back in the day, I used to say fresh and dope. Now we'd say it's lit and
It's turned.
you heard, turn, you know,
Gotcha.
shit like that. So that kind of stuff is awesome.
evolves.
Yeah, so.
An evolution.
I mean, I think that's the great thing about craft beer, right? In general, I think craft beer brings people together. I mean, people who like good beer. I mean, it doesn't matter where you're from or
And you know
who
what?
you are. I mean, if you like good beer, you like good beer.
Saying that, like you touching upon that, like especially like here comes the hip hop culture. The hip hop culture, born and raised in the South Bronx, and look where it's at right now. You know, and craft beer is parallel when it comes to that what hip hop is in a sense, to me at least. I look at these cans and bottles, all influenced by what hip hop culture is all about. You know.
Yeah,
Let's-
look at places
let's
like
give props to
Interborough,
that.
right?
Exploitation.
Every other beer they name is after
Can
is
we
a
say
hip hop
exploitation?
reference.
I'm not going to say exploitation.
Nah, it's not exploiting
What I'm
because
going to
the-
say is that it's inevitable to
Yeah.
adapt hip hop culture in anything. It's in fashion. It's in the way you speak. It's just a New York thing. You know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to like express. Like you can't ignore it. So stop acting like it's
Word.
not
Don't
there.
accept the cool names in beer, and I'm not talking about the brewers, but if you put something like Barrier, Don't Sweat the Technique, or you put Illmatic on a beer, that's amazing.
Give
But then
props.
don't look at us funny when we actually sound like the people, and we're living the lives of those rappers,
Right.
and we relate to that. You know, don't think the beer is cool and then like, yo, that guy's ratchet. Those gentlemen sound crazy.
I
Like,
think
no.
what he's trying to tend to. I think what Joel's trying to get to is that, you know, it just the you know, the
Don't be
using-
selective. Don't be selective.
Don't be so
Right.
selective. If you're not about it, don't be about it. Like,
Exactly.
You can't fake the funk. Like you're gonna get pointed out, and you know, there's no perpetrating the fraud here. Like it is what it is. You know what I mean? So if you're not about it, don't act like
Exactly.
you are.
If you like Tribe Called Quest and you want to put Tribe Called Quest, then that you gotta be comfortable with the motherfucker standing on the corner with merms on. You gotta be comfortable with the smell of marijuana, the Hennessy, everything that
Truly.
comes with that
Yeah.
culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, I'll take the music, but fuck what those guys grew up on and what
Right.
actually made them who they are. You know? That's it. That's all I'm saying.
And you know what? It'd be funny if you have a conversation. Because it'd be funny to hear or smell that guy that smells like marijuana and listen to what he's got to say, and it'd be like, yo, motherfucker knows what he's talking about, you know?
Just says it differently.
Just says it differently, exactly.
That's all. That's what he grew up on.
Yeah. I mean, I think marijuana and craft beer go hand in hand, but I mean, that's just me.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've never done it, but I heard it's really good. I heard it.
I can't do it, and I wish I could. I'm waiting for retirement, and I'm gonna roll the fattest blunt ever.
Facts. Inside of a Cuban.
There you go. There you go. So now, if people want to hear more about Sam or find out more about you guys, where can they go? Like, are you guys on social, website? I mean,
Working on
where
the
can we
site
find out?
right now? Because we actually inherited the name, obviously, and we try to give it
Yeah.
more meaning. But the best outlet is like Instagram, you know, the Sampler BK on Instagram.
Facebook is still up. We don't really. I mean,
Yeah,
Rich
Facebook
uses
is.
Facebook page is up.
Instagram is what we
Sampler
really.
BK.
Twitter.
We have a Twitter account.
Sampler BK, all right.
Instagram account. You know, so it's always being updated and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're coming to Viceland this spring. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Hopefully. Just come by and say what's up. You know, we're
234
we're people.
Star Street.
234 Star.
What are your hours of operation here?
12 to 12 every day, but Thursday, Friday, and Saturday we stay open to 2 a.m. So most likely I'm here to 2 a.m. anyway on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday.
It's a good vibe. They just come by, stop by, see what we're about.
Retail,
Right.
say something to go,
See how we
stay.
rebranded the name. It's all about the culture. It's all about learning about each other.
Absolutely.
I said it before. I said it again. Unity and diversity. That's what we're all about. You know,
Word up.
inclusive with every aspect. There you go. And drinking some unbelievable beer curated by Uptown's own.
Thank you.
Uptown
Shout out to all the
Ale.
breweries that actually allowed me to get this shit. You know, a lot of this beer doesn't make it uptown, which is crazy. Like,
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
I respect that and I thank them just for the liquid. I'm grateful for the liquid.
I love that. Grateful for the liquid. So now I'm going to give you a platform. Is there anything else that you want to say to our audience? Just let the people know about you, about the sampler, about craft beer in general. Just go for it.
Hire more black people. How about that?
There you
Yeah, like find out what your neighbor's doing. If you're at a bar drinking, see what that person is doing. Stop trying to judge people. and give everybody opportunity. I mean, you know, we need more representation in the community of minorities and all that, and that's about it. And you know, you can do whatever you want. Everything is law of attraction. Like, if I didn't talk to Rich and just served him like a lame bartender, he would have never remembered me. He would have never hit me up. We would have never been here. So, you know, even if you're working a shitty job, try to get to know everybody around you. And yeah, law of attraction is really, really a real thing. You know what I'm saying?
Is it, gentlemen, any parting words?
I really like this place. I like that diversity. It's a big thing here. We've done. I want to say this is maybe our second episode. We did an episode at Island to Island Brewery.
Shout outs to them. We'll have Black History Month.
Shout out to Island.
That was a really cool episode, and this is another cool one as well. Yeah.
February we're doing all black artists, brewers. March we're doing all women. Cinco de Mayo we're doing all Mexican. Like, that's the type of game changer we're trying to do. And shout outs to Beer Wax too, yo. Chris at Beer Wax.
Shout out to Beer Wax.
Shout out to Bronx Beer Hall in the Bronx. Paul Ramirez, Anthony doing their thing. Shout out to Lina Brewery, Katarina. Shout out to everybody. Garrett Oliver, Celeste from Harlem Brewery. That's about it for the minorities.
Well, I like to say that
it's a good list. It's just a short list.
The artists that we really try to showcase
for sure.
that are not represented. Like, these guys can do amazing work. And it was something that was shunned upon years ago. And all of a sudden now it's cool to see graffiti on the walls, and people actually travel to see this stuff. Like, we're gonna have this hanging literally on our walls, and it's gonna be for sale, and it's gonna be beneficial mostly for the artist itself that, you know, seems to be exploited from wherever angle there it is. Yeah, that's all. Basically, the sample is gonna be that. It's all gonna be about us. It's gonna be about including every aspect when it comes to art, and especially the craft beer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, it's interesting about gentrification, right? It brings the good and it brings the bad.
Unfortunately, it does. I mean, like I said, I grew up in this neighborhood. It was messed up. It's fucked up. However, being that I see cool restaurants to go have brunch, which I never heard of before back in the day. It was salami con queso if you're lucky, you know. But now it's like, now you have places to go have brunch. Chismosa, like over here, the Sand Club, Chismosa. But, you know, that's a good thing, because back in the day, it wasn't always that cool. It was kind of fucked up. You couldn't want to walk in the streets. So that's a good thing. Now, however, what comes back with this is the whole real estate aspect where people are getting driven out.
Yeah.
They can't pay the rent, which, hey, it comes with the territory. But, hey, you've been here all your life.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give them an excuse. You got to step up your game no matter what. It's survival of the fittest. I've always believed in that.
Word.
You know, our parents came here with nothing. They made something of themselves. And it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. So to those that have been here all their life, and my bad, sorry about that, but those that are doing what they got to do, hey, kudos to you. You know what I mean?
Find somebody. Try.
You can make it happen.
You can do it. Try.
Absolutely. And you know, that's why it's great to see like guys like you guys like doing your thing, succeeding here, and still keeping some of the old neighborhood alive in a neighborhood that is definitely, you know, is definitely a changing place. So that's great to see. It's definitely great to see. So again, you know, BTBT, we're very happy you guys invited us down, had us here. I think this is a great place for anyone who hasn't been here. We definitely recommend coming out here. Come down to Bushwick, come down to the Sampler. A lot of good brews, good people. I mean, what else can I say? It's a fucking good time down here.
Good time.
We got that loud. You heard?
All right, guys. Until next time, man. Drink local, drink fresh. Repeat. Cheers.
To BTBT, thank you. Good looking. And hope to hear this episode soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening to this week's show. 2 dope episodes in 1 week. Shout out to the Sampler crew. Get out there. Show them some love. It's a good spot with good people and, of course, good craft beer. The Craft Beer Odyssey continues. We'll be back next week bringing you more and more and more. But until then, stay up to date and check out all the latest info on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Visit that BTBT store at beertodaybeertomorrow.com for all your BTBT needs. Until next time, cheers.